And we're live. Hey everybody, welcome into the Flippin Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star. Today is Tuesday, April 6th, 2021. We're going to wait a couple minutes for folks to get in here before I start yapping at you. If you're already here and in the chat, just let me know that you can see me and hear me fine before I talk or whatever too long. I know you can hear me. I see that Jamie is here already. James Pace there, guys, with the blue wrench. He's one of my mods. Hi, Jamie. And Carrie Berry's mom is here. Terry's here. And they can see and hear me, which is good. All right. So I'm going to assume if one person can see and hear me, everyone can. Hey, Cindy, welcome in. So today is the 6th of April, meaning we are well into April, almost a week now into the first month of the second quarter of 2021. And every time we start a new quarter, I like to talk about, that's the notification that I just went live. That's the delay for you guys. Just so you know, like anyone cared. Anyway, every time we start, every time we start a new week or a new month, I like to rethink goals. And that's one of the things we're going to talk today about successful people and how they plan and how they look at things a little bit differently in the way that they plan and the way that they think. Every day is a chance to start over, to start new goals, every new week, every new month, every new quarter, every new year. And you have to reflect that in your planning and how often you're looking at your planning and what you're planning. And you have to revisit your goals pretty often because life changes. And when life changes, your goals are going to change. You can't make a goal at the beginning of 2021 and expect it to be the same goal. Even moving into the second quarter, sometimes things will change. A really good example of that is 2020. When we all went into 2020 at the beginning of January, I'm sure that we all had goals and ideas of the way that things were going to be in 2020 for ourselves and our businesses. And after the first quarter, after the first 3 months of 2020 were over with, and we were into April of 2020, that was when the shutdown was well into full swing. And a lot of things were shut down. Thrift stores were closed. We couldn't get out to source. Sales were down. Things were way different. And so anything that you had thought that you were going to work towards for 2020, you had to really rethink it. You had to rethink the ways that you were sourcing, rethink the ways that you were getting inventory. And some of us had to take a step back and maybe rethink our sale goals and our profit goals and things for the year because things around us changed that were out of our control. So because we're into second quarter, I want to talk about goals and planning and bullet journals and to-do lists and all that good stuff. I always like to revisit these topics, especially and at the beginning of new quarters. I'm going to say hi to some folks in the chat. Doreen is here. Stargraven Wild. Hi, Pamela. Welcome in. Lee, correct. 2020 was a pivot year for a lot of people. A very good example of that is if she's watching. If not, you guys can tell her I threw her under the bus. But Vicky and Katie, you guys are probably familiar with Katie and Vicky. They used to pride themselves on not having death piles. That was like their point of pride. They would go out and source, bring home what they sourced, immediately get it photographed, tucked away in their inventory system, put away, and listed. And that was a great way to work. There's nothing wrong with that. They didn't see any need to have any built up inventory or back stock or death piles. They live in Nevada. It's the desert. They didn't have cold or hard winters like we do here in Pennsylvania. Keith and I have always tried to have somewhat of a back stock or a rainy day pile just because of the way our winters are here. We can get snowed in or iced in or have inclement weather that affect our driving. But if you live in a place where you can go out all year and the weather's pretty nice year round, there's nothing wrong with that. And I remember that Katie and Vicky always prided themselves so much that they never bought more than they could list. They never had extra inventory, and they would always bring home exactly what they intended to list that week. They would thrift, bring it home, and get it listed. And that really bit them in the butt when the shutdown happened. And they had to rethink the way they do things. And I know now Katie and Vicky have a stockpile, a little bit of a just in case inventory put aside just in case something were to happen. So, life can throw wrenches at us, definitely. So it is a good idea to revisit your goals consistently. It can be something as big as COVID and a shutdown, and it can be something as small as going from a 2-income to a 1-income family, or someone in your home getting a raise. Let's say you have a partner, whether you're married or you just live with your person, and they get a raise and there's a little bit more money coming into the home. Maybe more money from your eBay is now being put back towards vacations and less towards bills and paying off debt. It could be something that small as someone else getting a raise, or maybe you eventually pay off one of the bills. Like if you are working towards paying off college debt or a car or a mortgage or something, if that eventually gets paid off, whatever you were putting towards that is now extra money. You have to figure out where that's going and what you're doing with that money. Can it be more capital? Can you start buying wholesale? Can you upscale? Is it another bill you need to put it into? So Robert is a big fat liar. Just so you guys know. Hi, Robert. Welcome in. So there's just constantly life is changing, whether it's big things, small things, little things from day to day. And I always tell folks, at minimum, you should be rethinking, relooking at your goals at minimum, probably weekly. You could probably slide by with every quarter. Especially with like monetary and profit goals, if you just really wanted to look at those like once a quarter, like maybe catch up your books and do your quarterly tax filing once a quarter. You can get away with that. But personally, I like to look at my stuff every week. I have my bullet journal out every night, and I'm looking at the next day, and I'm looking at what I had on my to-do list for the next day and my appointments and what I had planned and what else can I add or what can I take away to do this or do that. So I look at my journal, my bullet journal, every single night, last thing before I go lay down and read, and just kind of remember what I had planned for the day. And Sundays, I spend some quality time with my bullet journal every Sunday just to get ready for the week. And then I actually rethink my goals and rethink the process as I go along. So I think we should all be doing that. Let me check in. I see a lot of people stopping in to say hi. Debbie's here. You guys, Bill and David are here. Norman the Frog. They have a wrench as well. So does Robert. So if you need anything, you guys can ask them. They're the moderators here. G-Lo is here. Alyssa is here. Welcome in. Thank you. So many people for showing up tonight. I love it. Laura is from California, and Greg is here. Kelly is here. Hello. Welcome in. Hip Flippin' Mama. That's Kelly. Very good friend of mine. See, Robert can't even walk in his house. This guy has some inventory, let me tell you. Ivy, welcome in, and Lisa. So welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We got someone else from the West Coast and out there in Oregon. Welcome in. I'm originally from Arizona, if anyone didn't know that or cared. So here's what I wanted to talk about. So the first thing is you got to plan. Successful people plan. They plan everything. Believe it or not, successful people have, I'm not saying you can't ever be spontaneous and that you have to have every single waking, I'm sorry, you guys. I have like hairs in my face and I keep itching. You don't have to have every single second of every single day planned out from the time you wake up and your feet hit the floor. But it's a good idea to have the big things planned out for each day. Know what's scheduled. Know what appointments you have. Know what you're leaving the house for. If this is your full-time job, if this is what you do and this is all that you do, you need to know and have on your schedule what is taking you out of the house. Because that is the biggest time suck and the biggest way to lose time and lose productivity as far as listing and photographs. And if you do YouTube, any of the things that we have to do from home as part of our job. When we're outside of the home, that is the biggest way to lose productivity. And I've talked in the past on other videos before on ways to save time and ways to save money is to try to correlate your plans. Like if you have a doctor's appointment that's even on the same road or a couple shopping centers over from where you like to buy your dog food or from where you like to get your groceries, try to correlate that on the same day. So go to your doctor's appointment and then head over to the Petco and get the dog food, or head over to the Walmart to get your groceries. If you have a vet appointment and it's next door to the place where you like to buy your bulk paper towels, just try to make it so that you're doing as much as you can outside of the house. That's all together in the same area at the same time. You'll save gas. You'll save wear and tear in your car. You'll save time. You won't be running out as often. You won't be stuck in traffic. It really does save a lot of time and money in the long run if you plan your days like that. So that's probably why I check in on my bullet journal so often. I like to look, when am I leaving the house? Why am I leaving the house? Where am I going? Where are my appointments taking me? And what else can I do that day while I'm out? Because that really sucks the productivity right out of your day. For instance, today, all we needed to do was run a couple of errands and get some groceries and stop at Walmart. And we had it planned pretty well. And we had, a plan of action going in order, traveling, most productively. But it still ended up taking a little bit longer than we wanted it to due to traffic. And Pennsylvania seems to always be working on their roads. I don't think this state knows how to ever just leave things alone, but they always have road work. But we still got everything done. We still were mostly productive. We got a lot of stuff done before we left the house. We planned it around lunch. And then I was able to list a little bit before coming on here with you guys. So I planned it out. I wished I had more time in the day, but I can't control the road work. But had I just been a willy-nilly person, I probably would have left before lunch when there's more traffic. And I probably would have not gone to a couple places that I went to and then had been running out another day. So it's always good to just pick up, plan your errands. I don't know where that word came from. Hey, Missy. Alyssa has a whole cemetery. I just picked up rent. $1,100 richer. That's almost a stimmy check there, kid. So yeah, it's a good idea to always be planning, always be looking ahead, always just thinking, what can I do to be more productive with my day and my time? And anytime you don't have to leave the house or you don't have errands that are taking you away from the home, be as productive as you can be in the home. So if you don't have any errands to run, you don't have to leave. Do you really got to put makeup on? I'm going to tell you guys what. When I don't come on YouTube, when I'm not in front of the camera, I look like a homeless troll who lives under the bridge. And that's okay because I'm not trying to look good. So if I'm not leaving the house and I'm not going in front of a camera, I'm in pajamas and I look awful. And I'm getting hundreds of extra pictures taken. I'm getting extra listing done. I'm getting, other things on the back end caught up as far as emails and messages and things like that. And I'm not taking that extra step or that time to do the hair and the makeup. And when I know I'm going to film a video or two, I make it 4, I make it 5. I'll have a day of recording so that the time I spend on the hair and makeup is worth it because I'm recording several videos in a row. So just kind of like try to change your mindset to think like that. That is how successful people think. If I'm going to be sitting down to list today, how much can I list? And the day before I sit down to list, is there any way I can get extra pictures so maybe I can be more productive and list more? If I'm just staying at home and listing, can I just maybe take a shower and then put pajamas on and look horrible? Because no one cares. She's so funny. I think Kelly saw me on FaceTime when I was getting ready to go to eBay Open one time when I didn't have makeup on. A couple of people have seen me without it. I do look like a troll, but needless to say. So just try to plan that. Like, think ahead of time. Think of, if today's going to be picture day, maybe I just take pictures and set up drafts. If I have to leave the house, what else can I do? I mean, there are times when Keith and I just have so many errands to run. We just say we're really not going to get much done as far as work. So this is just going to be an errand day. And we're going to cram in as much as we can outside of the house to try to get it out of the way. And that's just what that day has to be. And then we just have to list extra the day before and the day after, or set up drafts to plan ahead of time. But that's that planning, that constant thinking ahead, that constantly looking at your schedule and knowing what's coming, knowing what's planned, knowing what is around the corner, and knowing consistently what you can do to make each day its most productive, no matter what that day consists of. The other thing I think that successful people do is, yes, it was FaceTime. Sorry, guys, I'm all distracted now. We were talking on FaceTime on Facebook, and I was packing my suitcase. I remember because I was painting my toenails too. And packing my suitcase and getting ready to go to Open or Florida, if now would have been 2019. Either way, thank you very much. You saw me without makeup and you didn't die. All right, so the other thing I think that successful people do is that they know how to break their goals down into smaller steps. So they know how to take what they want and plan how to get there. So I have this example broken down here to go over with you guys. And I chose a monetary / listing goal to break down with you guys. Yes, I have water and Pepsi. This is how I get through the day. This and coffee. A successful person will decide what they want or where they want to be. And that's the big goal. And then they plan on how to get there and all the small steps they have to do to get there. And most of the time, the planning for that is done backwards. So by that, I mean, let's say you still have a job outside of the home. This is just an example, guys. I pulled numbers out of thin air just for the ease of the example and writing it down in math problem. But let's say you're someone who still works outside of the home, and let's say you make $36,000 a year net before taxes and everything. So you make $36,000 a year before taxes and everything, and that's what you've got to replace. And you're kind of got a couple things listed on eBay, maybe a couple items. Maybe you've shipped one or two, and you're just getting rolling. You're just getting started. And so your big goal would be, I want to replace my $36,000 a year so that I can quit my job and do eBay full time. That would be the big goal. Now you got to break that down into way smaller chunks in order to even start anywhere to get up to that, right? Because you can't just do that overnight. So you have to figure out how you're going to get there. And again, you work backwards. So you figure out, well, over a year's time, if I needed 36K, And that's net. So that's before taxes, fees, cost of goods, and shipping. That's $3K net sales a month. Times 12 months a year, that's $36,000, right? So you need to sell $3,000 worth of stuff a month. Then you would say, well, that's 150. Why does it say 150 a day? I can't even read my own notes. Now he's listening to me and saying he's fiddle farting around. That is $3,000 a month. Holy crap! I cannot look at this. Who could read their own notes if they look like that? Anyway, all right. So then you figure out what you need a day. We're just gonna skip this because I'm not pulling my calculator back out. So you need 150. I can't figure out my own notes. I need to write neater. So if you need to sell $3,000 a month, that'd be 150 a day. And then I said, if your average, let's say your average sale price is 20. That's not computing. Oh boy, I should really write neater. Let's just do the math together then, because apparently. Okay, so $36,000 a year divided by 12 is $3,000 a month. Divided by 30 is $100 a day. So if you sold each item is 20, you just sell 5 things a day. If your average thing sells for 20, your average item is $20 a day. So if you need to sell 5 items a day, you guys have been hearing me for years saying that our historical sell-through rate at 2,000 items at a 0.5% sell-through rate is around 10 items a day. If you're going to be going the route of used clothing and plush, we're going to say that for the ease of this example, then if you wanted to sell 5 a day, you're going to have right around 1,000 listings. If you can sell 10 a day on average with 2,000, you're going to need around 1,000 to sell 5 a day. So you also need to remember, you got to list to replace what you're selling, and you got to list to grow. But in the beginning, you're basically just listing to grow, right? So you're still working outside of the home. Your big goal is to get $36,000 a year, which equates to 5 sales a day at an average sale price of $20. Sounds really super easy once you start working backwards and making it small. Well, how do I get 5 sales a day? How do I get 1,000 listings? If you can list 20 items a day, right? Anyone can do that. Then it's going to take you 50 days. So it's going to take you roughly 3 months, but you still work full-time outside of the house. So give yourself a little bit of a break and say it's going to take 3 to 6 months. Give yourself a break because you're going to be selling. The more you list, the more you sell. Period. Because the more you list, the more active you are. And the more you list, the more overall listings you have, the higher the sell-through rate goes up. So the more you're going to sell. So as you're listing that 20 a day or 10 a day, on that 3 to 6 month goal you're going to have on this example, you're going to start selling more, and you're going to be replacing instead of growing. And you will hit a point where you feel like you're spinning your tires and your wheels, and you're not growing, and you're just replacing, and that's okay. That's normal for everyone in the beginning. Right around 1,000 active listings on eBay was when Keith and I started to spin out back in our first year. Just spinning out, tires spinning, listing, selling, not growing. But it hits a point where you start to grow again. And so that's what a successful person would do. They would take that big, giant goal. I want to make 36 a year. And then they would just work it backwards into tinier, smaller, more attainable, easier to achieve steps that works out to this much a month, this much a day. How many sales is that a day? How many listings is that? Well, while I'm still at my job because I need to pay my bills and eat, how much should I be listing a day to grow to that point where I can have that amount of listings to sell that? You just kind of work it back down. Star is seriously one of the most motivated and driven resellers I know. Constantly moving or working or reading a book. Thank you so much. That's very kind, Kelly. I do read a lot. In my non-existent free time. Hey, Morgan, welcome in. Our sales have actually been, they have been normal the past 2 weeks, but that is relevant. They've been pre-COVID normal. So they've actually been up the last 2 weeks than they had been in a very, very long time. Our sales are up right now in comparison to the last month or year or so. Things feel normal again for the first time in a very long time, of 10 or more a day, but knock on wood. So this is what successful people do. One, they constantly plan. They constantly know their schedule. They constantly know their routine. They constantly know what's happening. They write everything down, you guys. If you need to use an app on your phone rather than the traditional old-fashioned pen and paper, that's fine. But keep a schedule. Keep an app or a calendar of some sort and put your stuff in there. If you're not keeping track of what you need to do and what you need to accomplish and where you need to go and your appointments and how many things were you going to list and was I going to do photos today or when was I going to do my books and when are taxes due and when do I pick up the kids and when does the dog go to the vet? We have so many things going on in our lives, guys. You've got to write everything down or keep track of it on an app. You've got to be keeping it organized. So keep a bullet journal. If you don't do that, do something on your phone. If you don't do that, go get a notebook for 25 cents at the dollar store and write in it. I personally prefer the bullet journal. I don't trust the phone. I'm old. Get off my lawn. No. I just really like the bullet journal because I do. There's a lot of reasons. I feel more in control with it. It's way across the room from me. It should be over here so I can show you guys some stuff, but it's way over there. I like to color code with my pens and my highlighters. I like my stickers. I like to be able to plan stuff out. And with the bullet journal, it's not just an appointment book. If you've watched my bullet journal videos, it's got your calendar, it's got your appointments, it's got your to-do list, but it's so much more than that. It's got video lists in there, like ideas for videos for me. It's got packing lists for when I travel. It's got a to-do list for our move to Florida. It's got a to-do list for our taxes and catching our books up. It's got books I want to read, movies I want to watch. I mean, a bullet journal is like an everything book. It's got our control journal in there from the Fly Lady system we follow for routines and decluttering and our chores for the week. And just lists tons of them for everything. But you got to keep track of everything. That's what successful people do. Not all of us can remember everything, and no one really does. I have friends who will remain nameless. But I'm smirking because I'm sure people can guess who some of them are. I have friends who swear they don't need to write things down or keep track of their appointments or even put them in their fancy little overpriced Apple products. I'm an Android person, in case you couldn't tell. And they're constantly missing appointments or running late for appointments or forgetting things. Or calling me to remind them, what did I tell you yesterday that I said I needed to do today? Did you write it down? No, I told you to write it down. Well, I can remember things. Well, that's why you're calling me? It's my smirky face. So, yeah, not everybody can remember everything. You got to write it down. You got to keep track of it. And when you can look ahead, again, you can say, hey, look, next Wednesday, I got to go to the doctor, and it's this side of town. What's over there? What else can you do while you're on that side of town? There are some thrift stores you can hit. There are grocery store. I mean, there's just tons of things you can plan out when you know what's going on. But in addition to being able to plan out your daily and your weekly and your monthly lives, when you plan stuff out, you can you look at the bigger picture. And that's why I like the little journal too. You can write your big goal. I want to move to Florida. What is that going to entail? Well, first I have to pack my house, and then I have to file my taxes, and then we have to file for the pre-approved mortgage, and then we have to do this, and you have to do that, and then I have to call the movers, and you can do all these checklists and to-do lists, and then you can have it all broken down. And then on the next page, your big goal can be, I want to buy a new car, and then you can put down ideas of cars you want. You can even like leave a couple pages blank and do research and write down all your different car ideas and stuff. I like bullet journals just because they give you plenty of room to write down all of the things in your life. Yeah, our sales have been, I don't want to jinx it, but they've been pretty good. But we've also been very, I'm going to yawn on you guys, and it's not because I'm bored. Sorry. I like to-do lists on paper also because the satisfaction I get when I get to go. Did you hear that? That strike through that line of crossing something out to me is so satisfying. Yeah, that's something you have to be aware of as well, Pamela. You have to keep, you have to make sure that you're not lofty. You have to be planning. You have to keep your plans well within the time that you have. That's a big part of the listing challenge that we've been doing the last couple of months on this channel and in the Facebook group. By the way, if you're not a member of the Facebook group, let me give you the link. You can join. You should be in there because we're doing a listing challenge. It's been so fun. But yeah, a big part of the listing challenge I keep telling folks is if you're not meeting your goals consistently over and over again, write down why, because chances are you've just overplanned your life and things beyond your control are keeping you from everything you want to do. And most of the time it's not our fault. Most of the time it's just life and us not having enough time. But that's everything I had to cover with you guys. Just make sure you're planning. Write down what you want. What do you want out of second quarter 2021? What do you want out of 2021? What do you want out of this week? Tomorrow? Today? What do you want out of eBay? What do you want out of Poshmark, Mercari, wherever you sell? What do you want out of your reselling business? Are you working to pay off debts? Are you working to pay for a vacation? Are you working to make this a full-time job? Is this your full-time job and you need to make a certain amount of money to pay your bills and such? Make sure you're keeping track of all that. Write all your goals down. Write it all down and how you can accomplish it and how you will accomplish it small step by small step. Little baby bites. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So, that's everything. I'm going to let you guys go a little early tonight. I'm sure we all have super duper busy nights planned. We all know that we got to go write our goals down, right? Thanks, guys, for joining me tonight and spending some time with me. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And subscribe. And hit that little bell so you're notified when we have new content. Join the Facebook group. And I'll see you guys next time. You're the best. Bye.